Mr. Kennedy, thank you for the time.
Thank you, Jason.
You're doing well in polls with young voters and independent voters, but we're a year out from the election. How do you maintain that momentum and grow it further?
Well, you know, I have 12 months, so I'm doing better right now. I'm at, according to the latest New York Times poll, there's 3 big polls that kind of confirm me in the same 22 to 24%. The most recent is the New York Times poll, which has me at 24%, which is about the same. The last independent candidate to get that high this early was Teddy Roosevelt, so that's 100 years ago with the Bull Moose Party. So I feel like I'm in a good position right now, and I feel also that you know, there's every poll shows my favorabilities are much higher than either of the other candidates, and in Americans under 45, I'm the most popular, which is a key bellwether, and with independents, I'm the most popular. And I have 12 months to reach the other people who you know, and I'm pretty confident even if you interview in the polls that have tested their opinions, nobody really is thrilled about either of the people that I'm running against. So I would say those are the 2 weakest candidates for president from major parties in recent decades, and so I feel very good about my chances.
You know the history of independent candidates in this country. They're not the best. They usually suck off support from Republicans or Democrats. Where do you see a path to victory?
Well, I'm taking, you know, again, I'm just basing this not on my speculation, but on what the polling show and what, you know, the analysis by Politico that showed that my support is coming, a lot of it, and particularly my money, is coming from people who have not given to political campaigns before. So I think I have a lot of inactive people, and you know, I think when people actually see me, I have not been popular with the mainstream media in this country for several years. I've had tens of thousands of stories done about me. Virtually all of them have been negative, and most of them, virtually all of them, mischaracterize my position on a variety of issues. And what we find is that when people who have very negative opinions about me actually see me speak in long-form interviews, et cetera, that they come away, that I have a very high conversion rate. So our challenge, I think, Jason, is we haven't done any advertising yet. I think when we start advertising, that we're going to capture a lot of those people right now who don't know where else to go, and I think there's a large pool of people who are not enthusiastic about either the candidates. The polls show the majority of Americans do not want to vote for the 2 other candidates.
The polls in battleground states are where you're ahead right now. Have you looked out at the map and said there are any must-win states? We've got to get these states. We've got to concentrate in these areas.
I think we've done analysis. I mean, we have extensive spreadsheets. I have to get 270 electoral votes. The way that the rules work is you don't need a majority, you need a plurality in order to get, and it's winner take all. So all I have to get in a lot of these states is probably 38% of the vote, and I will win all the electoral votes. So there are many different paths for me reaching 270, which is the magic number that will make me president. And you know, you can do that with the big, what you call the big states, with a lot of electors. But I can also do it through the little states where you're paying much less, you're making a much smaller investment per voter, and the large states, which are a very populous state where you have to spend a lot more money. So, you know, we're looking at all the different options, and we'll probably try 2 or 3 paths at once.
Does Texas fall into those paths?
Yeah, Texas is a critical state in almost any calculation.
A lot of electors here. How challenging do you think it's going to be, Mr. Kennedy, to get on the ballot in all 50 states?
I think it's going to be very challenging, but I'm 100% confident we can do it.
In the past, we've seen, both parties throw up lawsuits against independent candidates trying to keep people off. I mean, do you expect to encounter that?
Yes, we expect to encounter a lot of resistance from both of the political parties. But we're already, we have 250,000 volunteers, which is more than any other candidate. And we're, the states that we're allowed right now to begin collecting ballots in, we're way ahead of our metrics. So I'm pretty confident that we're going to be able to do it.
Coming out of the horse race for a moment and looking at politics, what are the two biggest, most urgent, pressing issues facing this country right now, in your opinion?
I think the wars are most important, and also the destruction of the middle class in this country, the price of housing particularly, the fact that we have a whole generation of kids that are not going to get into housing, who have the poll shows lost faith in our country, lost hope in their future. And it's really important, and that's one of the things I'm going to do, is I'm going to get that generation into homes.
How do you do that?
Well, we have a lot of different programs, but one of them is to issue a 3% mortgage and not without driving this country further into debt, but by getting the U.S. government to co-sign those mortgages and then financing them with treasury bills that are sold, that are tax-free at 3% interest, so the market will pay for them. But we need to get this generation into homes because our economy is based upon an ownership economy, and if you own a home, you can get equity and you have access then to capital, and if you have an entrepreneurial impulse, you can pursue it. And we need that kind of entrepreneurial ferment if we're going to recover our economy and reindustrialize. Then the other issue that I would say that I'm very much focused on is the chronic disease epidemic in children. When my uncle was president, only 6% of Americans had chronic disease. 6% were overweight. Today, 42% are obese, 75% are overweight, and at least 60% have chronic disease. These are neurological diseases, autoimmune diseases that we never saw when I was a kid, and allergic diseases. And those diseases are coming from toxic exposures, and we need to eliminate them. And I'm going to do that as president. I'm going to get us a safe food supply in this country, and I'm going to reduce the exposures and the chronic disease epidemic.
Two last questions here. Texas has a lot of independent voters. We're known as a red state, but there are a lot of independent voters here. Donald Trump won the state narrowly in the last election in 2020. How much should we expect to see you here in Texas? Because you've been here a number of times already.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of me here in Texas, and I've already been to a lot of the major cities. I'm going to be in every area of the state. I'll be in the Rio Grande Valley. I'll be in East Texas, West Texas, all over the Panhandle, etc.
I want to ask you about something that's kind of gone viral here. You've leaned into that barefoot video on an American Airlines plane, Americans based here in North Texas. And you had your own little response to TMZ the other day on that flight to Dallas. Well, why were your shoes off?
I don't like wearing shoes. I never have.
You have them on in this interview, though, here.
I know, it's painful. I was going to take them off, and I don't want another video out there right now.
Mr. Kennedy, thank you for the time. We appreciate it, sir.
Thank you very much.